Downtown Decatur, it's the Faber Files. Hello, I'm your host, Bill Faber. Because democracy demands debate, we present this program of public issues and interest. Nowhere else on broadcast TV do we see shows covering for 30 minutes the topics of our local community, its issues, its problems, its worries, and its solutions. Tonight's special guest is Sherri Perkins. She is running for re-election to Decatur School Board, District 61. Sherri Perkins, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
You're running for re-election?
I'm running for re-election. My 4 years will be up. Want everyone to vote for me April the 7th. I'm currently Vice President of the Board of Education.
Not everyone knows you or your family, so do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your family?
Sure. I'm a proud product of District 61, lifelong resident of Decatur, and I'll give you a little history about me. I went to Mary W. French, which is now French Academy, so I'm dating myself. Went to Oakland School after that, which no longer exists. Woodrow Wilson, which is closed. 3 years at MacArthur, my senior year at Stephen Decatur. And after graduation, went on to Illinois State University, graduated from there after 4 years, came back, was happily employed at Caterpillar for 36 years. Some of the jobs I held: Personnel Services Manager, Master Black Belt, CPS Support Manager. Happily married for 36 years to Sherri Perkins. And a lot of people know Jeffrey as the founder, president of Caring Black Men. I should say, retired from Caterpillar after 36 years. Of course, I started when I was 2. And we have 2 children, JJ and Jamie, both proud products of District 61. JJ graduated from Milliken. He works for Walgreens in St. Louis. Jamie graduated from the U of I, and she is in pharmacy school in Chicago.
You know, there are a lot of elected positions, but none tougher than a local school board, because you're so close to the people and so close to the ground. What prompted you to run and be a serving member of Decatur 61 School Board?
Bill, that's a very good question. For me, it's about giving back to this community that I so love and I'm so proud to say I'm a part of. As I say now, I'm retired, but we had a lot of success with District 61. We care about the kids, and I say we because it's a family affair. Jeffrey's involved from the aspect of being in the schools every day with Caring Black Men, and I'm involved from the aspect of getting policies and guidelines for the district. So we care about our kids, and it's all about the kids. And for me, this is about giving back. I've been truly blessed. Been successful, my family's been successful, and for me it's about giving back to this community and lifting up others.
So as you survey the problems of our community and our school, what is the overriding problem and its solution from your point of view as a school board member?
Well, I'm running on a platform with 3 things. My first is increase academic achievement. Currently, we have low test scores. We have 2 newly renovated high schools. I hope you have an opportunity to see them. Beautiful high schools, but we've got to raise the test scores. The other is a safe learning environment. I want to ensure that everyone in the schools, and that staff, that students, people from the community who visit, feel safe. And the third is parental accountability. We have got to hold the parents accountable for the actions of their children.
And how do you do that? How do you hold mom and dad or grandma or grandpa responsible?
You know, a lot of it starts with training. They don't know what they don't know.
Okay.
Some of the problems in our school district with the families are generational. We have not a lot of support at home in some cases. There's a lot of good things going on, don't get me wrong. But some of the children don't have the support at home like you and I had. So we reach out and we help others. That comes with them feeling comfortable to come to the schools, participate in their children's education, and make it so the environment that they feel comfortable doing that.
Right. You mentioned the renovation to Eisenhower, for example. I've been to Eisenhower.
Great,
I saw Jesse White's tumblers there a couple of weeks ago. And what a beautiful facility.
And wait till you see MacArthur, same thing.
Yeah. I mean, they're first class.
Yes, absolutely,
Wow.
absolutely.
Wonderful job there.
And the students have a lot of pride in the schools as you go and you see them, and they're just really happy to be there. So this is great for Decatur.
Sure. Talking about support at home for the students, what percentage of our students are living in poverty in District 61?
You know, I'd say that's somewhere between 75 to 78%. People don't realize that, and we need help. So it's about me being thankful for I've been blessed and reaching back, and others reaching back and helping those who are less fortunate.
A little bit of
Because that does not mean that they don't love their children.
Absolutely. Diane Radich, who is a policymaker on education throughout America, she says that the single most telling demographic or criteria to determine the success of a school district is the income level of the students. The higher the income level, the higher the academic success, and they just match up perfectly.
You know, that's a good lead-in. As you know, Andy Menard is trying to pass Senate Bill number 1 so that the areas that have a lower property tax base get more funding. But of course, that would take funding away from the areas with the higher property tax base. And I feel strongly that we need to look at that because every child deserves to have a great education.
Yes. Speaking of statistics, what is the graduation rate from our high schools in Decatur? Just about.
I know last year, and I'm trying to go from memory, last year we had, it was under 200 for one high school and then 198, and then for another high school it was like 224, so, students.
Looking at the whole school district, I understand there's 24 or so different schools within District 61 and about 9,000 or so students?
Correct. There's actually about 22 schools. We have one alternative school. And then, you're right, as far as the students.
Wow, that's a lot of kids.
That's a lot of kids.
A
lot to be proud about.
We hear a lot of complaints or criticism of our teachers. It seems to me that in terms of the jobs we are given on the earth, the most important is the parent. But I can't think of a more important job after that than the teacher.
And you know, let me just say, you do hear criticism, but let me just say, I also have to say we have a lot of great teachers in this district. I go, I visit the schools, I see the teachers. They do a lot where people don't understand. They do a lot on their own, but they take their time and their money because they really care about the kids. And they're mentoring and they're coaching and they're trying to work with the parents. So we have to give our teachers the support too. But also with the families, you know, you have to work together as a team. It can't be you just send your kid to school and then in the evening you don't do anything to try to help with the education. So we have to work in partnership.
About the criticism of teachers, are you seeing any problem with the teachers as they're teaching our children in District 61?
No. I would say that there's always opportunities. Just like we're coming out with this PARC. It's Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers. This is the new testing for K through 12. Will start in March. And it's to measure whether students are on track to be successful in college and their further career. And so this is something new for the teachers. This is something new for the students. It's online, so we'll use technology. And we have to be supportive of our teachers and supportive of our students.
Sure. Recently, Governor Rauner, our new governor, gave a State of the State address, and he was calling for more money for education.
I agree 100%. There's so much we can do with technology and everything we can. Just like with this PARC training, we need to be able to train our teachers, train our students. So yes.
I wonder where Mr. Rauner expects to find that money, since we have a budget deficit and we stopped the additional state income tax.
Yes, good question. I don't know. I didn't hear that in the State of the State. I did listen, but I did not hear that.
One of the comments that Governor Rauner also made in the State of the State was he thought we should have less testing of the kids so that more time could be spent on real education. What's your response to his remark?
I'm going to have to say I'm not an educator. I am a parent. And I would defer that to someone who's really had the knowledge and experience. One thing of being an ex-master black belt is I take statistical analysis. So I would go and do a study, and that I have not done. I'm not an educator. I'm not in into the classroom day in, day out. So I would respect someone who had the experience and knowledge over a period of time to answer that question.
You make a very good point, because we have legislators who are making decisions about education who don't have exactly the criteria and the qualifications that you have suggested.
Right. And what I would suggest is building teams with people who have that knowledge to go out and do that fact-finding, data collection, and then coming back and presenting their results before you make it, so that you can make informed decisions.
Again, I don't mean to focus on Governor Rauner, but he made a bunch of comments in his State of the State about education. And one of the comments he made was to have a greater emphasis on charter schools. Your thoughts on charter schools?
Right now, our charter school that we have is Robertson Charter School in Decatur, and they've had a great success with their testing. We're getting ready to go through as they are changed to the park testing. So I'd have to defer that. Right now, for the experience that I've had with exposure to charter schools, they've had a lot of success.
Okay. We have a new superintendent.
Correct.
Your thoughts on the future and her involvement in her working with the school board?
Lisa, right now, we're coming up on, it'll be a year here shortly, in a few months, and she's done a great job working with the school board. She's coming in with fresh ideas, and so more to come. You know, it takes really for someone to come in, it takes about a year to two to really get their feet wet, to have that vision and make changes.
Sure. I think it's somewhat disappointing, if I may just speak as a citizen of 61, of our superintendents who come and go.
Right, right.
You'd like to see them anchored in the community because schools are community.
Absolutely. We need someone who, absolutely, in the community. I know my husband and I are very involved in the community. You're out there. But I've seen Lisa at a lot of activities.
Sure.
We're always at the basketball games and all the sports activities. But no, she's very involved in the community.
I'm not offering criticism of our present superintendent.
Oh, sure.
I'm just looking historically.
Sure, sure. Yeah. And you know, you're exactly right. We need someone who's here and they stay for a while so that they can take us on this journey. And we can reach and we can set goals. And usually when you're doing that, you have your short-term and your long-term goals. And there's measurements to get there. So we need to make sure we have someone who's in place that can achieve that.
As a sitting school board member, what do you feel your job, your function is in your roles as a school board member?
Policy. Setting that policy. And also being a good listener. I always say listening to learn. As I said, I'm not an educator, but I'm a concerned parent. And I love this community, and I want the best for District 61.
Sometimes the issue of security in our schools comes up. Your thoughts on security in our schools?
We have a code of conduct that we follow, and as a school board member, part of our job is expulsion. And when people break that code according to what it is, we have to administer some type of punishment. I want to make sure that everyone feels safe and secure. That is teachers, staff, administrators. I want to make sure that people feel safe in our schools. And at this time, we've added, I don't know if you're aware of this, security officers at both high schools and at the middle schools.
I live over on the west side of Decatur, just beyond Milliken.
That's where I grew up.
And Dennis School is really doing some fantastic experiments.
Yes. Project-based learning. I was just there probably about a month ago, and my husband and I were there. We gave a presentation of one of the classes, and Dennis School has really flourished. I grew up in the West End as well.
Can you explain that new program at Dennis?
Yeah, with the project-based learning, and you know, I'm so excited about it because as a master black belt, that's what we did. We ran projects, but it's the students learning how to run projects, and it's this creative, out-of-the-box thinking where they run projects, they do the analysis, and then they do presentations on it, and you start slowly with it, but gathering the facts and the data. And then there was one they did with the turtles, and I got to go there, and it was helping a turtle who was disabled and been missing a couple of legs, and building some type of wheelchair, some type of, so that the turtle could travel. And the creativity that they came up with, they did their homework and fact-based data, and they, you know, came together as a group and a team, and it was just really exciting. There was an article in the newspaper about the creativity, and you're starting at a young age, and then when you nurture this and they grow thinking outside the box, I just think it's awesome.
Sure. And Milliken University is partnering with Dennis School. Yes,
which is a win-win for the Decatur community.
How does that partnership work, or just in a general way?
The partnership works with, I can't answer in total detail, but we've got students there who are coming and working with Dennis. Now, I can't go into specifics because I don't know that detail.
Do I understand that there's kind of a waiting list to get into Dennis School, or there's some effort for kids who would like to go there or who may not be able to get in there?
That I'm not aware of. I thought if you lived in the area, that you could get into the school. And as I've been told, there's a lot of people buying homes in that area to get in school. They're doing a fantastic job.
Because of its renewed
Oh,
reputation.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely,
right,
absolutely.
Right. In the school District 61, we also have a Montessori program.
Yes.
Can you explain what that is?
Montessori is where, and I think this is just awesome, kids get to use their creativity, think outside the box. You're not just sitting at a desk, and you can just do things of your own at your own pace and just be very creative. And it's a different way to look at learning as opposed to a book. You know, there's different ways that they use to teach for the learning, and you use your creativity.
Sure. Do I understand that there's parents who would like their kids in that Montessori school and might not be able to get in because it's
And that is
crowded?
true, and that is true. There is a lottery system.
There's a lottery system?
Yes, and in fact there's always applications in the newspaper, or there's a little briefs in the newspaper of when they have applications for the Montessori and when to sign up, and we just missed that.
Okay.
So they advertise that very well.
Does District 61 consider adding a second school since it seems to be so popular with our parents?
That I couldn't answer now. Remember, I'm one board member with one vote.
Okay.
I mean, that would be a good suggestion, but that would be something that the whole board would have to discuss.
Could you envision any reason that could not happen?
Well, you know, it would have to be funding. It would have to, the schools are themed, so it would have to be something that's brought before the board by the superintendent and that we would take a look at.
Well, is a Montessori school more expensive to operate than a normal school?
Yes, because you have to have certain certification per grade. So you have to, there's a lot of money that goes into teaching. Just not everyone can teach.
I see.
There's a style of teaching.
There's a style?
Yes,
particular
yes,
style?
and there's certifications that you have to have.
Okay.
And there's a lot of hours that go into that training.
And then why are mom and dad so anxious to get into that school and win that lottery?
They've seen the successes. You can look at the test scores, which I don't have in front of me because, again, we got 22 schools, but you can look at the test scores and see that they've had a lot of success.
In terms of attracting teachers to our community, any problems with getting qualified teachers to come to Decatur or stay in Decatur to teach?
Problems such as, so are you talking retention or are you talking recruitment?
Both.
Okay. I don't have the data in front of me. I know I'm going to speak from the perspective of a minority. I'd like to see more minority teachers in the school district. I'm looking at the population that we have. We have a large minority population. And I would like to see more males as teachers, and I'd like to see more minority females. Yes.
Okay. Is there something that can be done to attract more of those people, those demographics you suggested?
And again, this is Sherri Perkins speaking just as Sherri Perkins board member, so I just want everybody to understand that. We used to have a Grow Our Own program.
Grow Our Own?
Where you came through the school district and you wanted to be a teacher. And you know, you go to college, you come back, and you give back to this community.
Okay.
I don't know the particulars in that. I remember that, that's been several years ago. That would be something really good. But you know, one of the things we've got to look at is what do the young people have here in Decatur? So what do they have that would make them want to come back to Decatur?
Okay.
And that's more activities for people in the, you know, the 20s, 30s, 35, 40s. What do we have to offer? That gets back to jobs. And I know you're running for city council, but that gets back to jobs and opportunities for the young people.
Yes.
And what can we do to bring them here? Because as I look at my children, who are that age group, they want to go somewhere where there's something to do for that age group and something to offer.
So there's opportunity.
Opportunity, absolutely.
Sure.
They come home for a short visit and then they go back to their metropolitan area.
Sure. Keeping young children in a community is a great sign of the community's health or illness, perhaps.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Any thoughts on how we can keep kids and make them come back, like in the Grow Your Own program?
You know, jobs, of course. Something here with the activities that would, they could feel that they could social. And I really would like to see some statistics on, if we looked at the age groups of 22 professionals, 22 to 35, how many there really are.
Okay.
So I'd have to see some information about that. How to keep them here, I think it would be jobs. Location, we're close to Chicago. We're close to St. Louis, so location I think is great. But over the years, and I know since I'm a lifelong resident of Decatur, I've seen jobs leave here.
Yes.
And I can start talking about all the factories and, you know, I've even retired from Caterpillar. And I can just see the jobs that have left.
Sure. In terms of teacher retention, what are the issues there, if any?
teacher retention issues. Again, it would probably be keeping them, I don't know, for this area. I think a lot of it is who wants to live in Decatur.
Who wants
what
to
does
live in Decatur?
Decatur like have to offer?
Sure.
I know we've got Grow Decatur. They're doing a lot to change the image and work with that in Decatur. Sure. And I'd have to get some statistics about teacher retention. I can't talk to that.
Sure. You know, just in talking in generally with the hospitals who are recruiting, they may mention that when they recruit from the coasts, the east or west coast, that retention there is a real problem because they find that Midwesterners are their best stayers, shall we say.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of makes sense, huh?
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
it does. It
Right.
does.
Right. So if you had a private conversation with our superintendent, what would you be advising Lisa to do in this next coming year or two?
School funding.
School funding.
We've got to really see how we can help Senator Andy Menard get that bill passed. Test scores. We've hired a new guy, Ed Moyer, and he's our professional development person. He's over that. And what can we do to increase test scores? Technology. What can we do to ensure? And we're working on this. She's got a plan to ensure that we've got technology for every student that they can use. In fact, if you go to the grade schools, you'll see where they've got where storage for each of the laptops, and the students can go and get the laptops. I know when I was in school, we didn't have that. We had labs that we went to, and you had to share it.
Sure.
So.
Sure. I think most people don't realize that a lot of these standardized testings are done on computer.
Yes.
Online.
The park will be online, and this will be something new. And you can imagine with some of the school districts that can't afford a laptop for every student. That's going to be a challenge.
You know, with technology changing so quickly, so we staff supply the students with a laptop today. In 3 or 5 years, that laptop is probably obsolete.
It is. It is. I have to change mine about every 3 to 5 years.
Sure.
That's true.
Well, that sounds like it's great for Apple and Dell, but doesn't sound good for the taxpayer.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
Is there something that can be done to address that?
Well, we're going with the
reinvestment issue?
iPads, and so I'm not a technology guru, so I can't answer that.
Sure.
Very good point. Very good point.
How about salary, teacher salary? Any issues there that you see, or any difficulties, or
None that have been
recommendations?
related to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was proud to say that this last summer, a lot of my time was spent with the collective bargaining committee. I was on we reached a 4-year contract with the DEA, ratification of 98%, and I had an opportunity to sit at the table. And I'm very proud of that. I think I missed one meeting because I had to take my child back to school, and I got to hear a lot of the issues and a lot of the concerns, and
so we got
very
that
proud
in place.
of it. Yes, 4 years, and
Right.
I think that might be the first time we've had a 4-year contract.
Sherri, we're out of time. I want to thank Sherri Perkins for coming in and talking about the most important institution we have in our community, our Decatur schools.
Thank you so
Good luck.
much. Okay, thank you.